But yeah.
Yeah.
But I've also seen, I caught a realtor video this week, and she said she was out driving with her husband, just out for a Sunday drive type thing. They came across a new development. Nice single family homes, probably 3-4 bedroom houses, and for rental only. Rental on those homes is $2,800 to $3,200 a month. And they're now not building homes for sale, they're building homes to perpetually rent. So our world is turning into a rental. Everything's for rent, nothing, you don't own anything, you're just going to be renting all the things. Probably end up renting the furniture and what's the stuff? The stuff that you want a microwave, you're going to have to rent it. Good grief, that hasn't been a thing since I was a kid. Our very first TV, my dad got from Radio Rentals, UK company. As far as I'm aware, they still exist, but back in the day, they would rent radios, record players, eventually tape decks, TVs, when they were introduced, VCRs, and it was just a place even microwaves, you could rent a microwave from them. We rented our first black and white TV from them at a fairly reasonable rate. Because we couldn't afford the price of a black and white TV, and back in the day, you're talking black and white TV was $100, $150, whereas renting it was $5 a month. So of course, we'll rent it at $5 a month. Because it just we're not we don't have to save up the money to buy a TV. Well, at that time it kind of worked out quite nicely, because we didn't keep the TV for very long before my dad decided, it's probably time that we bought got a colour TV. So we rented a colour TV, and then a few years later we rented a colour TV with remote control. Actually, I'm not sure we did. I think at that point he did the math and said, if I keep the TV for 10 months, it's going to be cheaper for me to save up the money and buy it than it is to rent it monthly. Because at 10 months, I'm now paying more for the TV than I would have paid if I'd bought it. So at that point he decided, we'll buy the TV. And then when the TV broke, you're faced with, I have to buy a new one, or I have to call out a repairman. Whereas at least with the rental, if the TV broke as a rental, you just called the rental company and they'd take away the old TV and bring you a new one. So... But those were the days, and it was. I mean, we weren't a well-off family at that time. My dad was still at school, and oh, good grief. And so we didn't have much in the way of luxuries. And we had to save all the pennies we had. eventually he graduated from school and got a very well-paying job from it, and at that point we could start buying cars and TVs and microwaves and refitting the kitchen so it was what my mum wanted. So, all sorts of things like that. But, rental was what you did when you weren't very wealthy. And now we're getting pushed into rental is what everybody does. And, you have to rent your vacuum cleaner and you have to rent your mop. And it's like, I don't want to. I am now in the mindset that if I want a thing, I kind of want to own the thing. So it's my responsibility to fix it, it's my responsibility to look after it, and if I don't need it, or even if I do need it, I don't have to pay for it monthly to keep having it. Even car features these days. Some car manufacturers are trying to get you to pay subscription if you want. I don't want to do that. Let's clear the course first. Pay a subscription if you want air conditioning or heated seats or whatever. It's like, why would I even want to do that? Okay, let's have a look at weeds. So this field was mulched, doesn't need rolled, it is blotchy, and I think the reason this needs ploughed too, this needs ploughed in spaces was because of the way I set up courseplay at the time. Didn't work out too well. The other fields, I did something a little bit different, and so cleared out the needs ploughed thing. However, that said, I am strongly considering using the plough more frequently. A little bit of the problem with ploughing is it doesn't allow weeds to cultivate, which means you can lose environmental score because you're not dealing with weeds. Okay, I need to lower that. I need to turn on that and that, and auto width 39 feet. Maybe it is. That, and set A plus heading. Heading is 090. Back and Alt X. And that is my what do you call it? My weeding path. So now that GPS is now set up on this tractor, I can just do this without having to worry too much about missing bits, which is part of the problem. I generally have, especially doing a job like this, because it's not easy. It's easy to see clumps of weeds, and then as you go over them they are removed, but it's not quite so easy to see the individuals. And when you have individuals and you miss part of a row, you can't necessarily tell which bits of the field did I miss. Anyway, I'm going to do this. We'll go around the outside. Probably won't do the last field on the stream. I might not finish this one on the stream, but definitely get it started. It's not a fast piece of equipment. It never has been. I do remember, back in Farm Sim 17, weeding was just something you did to get an extra layer of fertilizer. I mentioned that earlier. And I would typically do that on the fields where I think it was one of my grass fields, and I would mow it for hay. And so I think I'd figured out you could effectively, I think you could almost do free fertilization. I would spread the manure or slurry or something, and then I would weed the field, which was another, oh yeah, with grass, if you cut the grass, and it would give you one free layer of fertilization, much like Farming Simulator does today with grass fields. If you mow a grass field, the result of mowing gets you grass that you can bale, and it leaves one layer of fertilization on the field. So I would then, I think, spread some manure on the field, and then I would run around with the weeder behind a Massey Ferguson 5 Series and just weed the field, and that's 3 levels of fertilization done. And it didn't cost me anything. Now, obviously with the arable fields where I'm planting things and they need all 3 layers of fertilization, I had to come up with some way of doing it. And normally, I think even back then, I was spreading some form of manure product, whether it was slurry or manure, planting the field. I'd usually plant the field with a seeder that included fertilizer. And then once the field was fertilized, I would go round again with the fertilizer sprayer or spreader and just finish off the field and get the 3 levels of fertilization. But I never had to have care wheels on my tractor because I got all of the fertilization done by the first stage of growth. And those were the days where you couldn't do a thing more than once per change in what was it? Change in field state. So if you fertilized a field, that was it. You now had to wait till the field grew before you did it again. However, I figured out quite early on that you could plough a field, you could fertilize a field, you could cultivate a field, you could fertilize a field, you could seed a field, you could fertilize a field. And you get 3 layers of fertilization in the field before anything even grew. So you didn't have to drive on your crops.
I bought my book. I bought my money for the book fair.
These days, I mean, I'm still getting a field complete during this first stage of growth.
So what do we need to do today, Miss Holbert?
So that was
Here.
that's kind of what I do now, and try and get all of the reasons for driving on the field done before we get too far into the growth stage, and I need care wheels and all the rest of it. And my fertilization equipment, I keep care wheels on it. Just so that if I'm doing contracts, it's kind of more realistic. I'm driving over other people's crops with care wheels, so I'm not really destroying their crops. Let's get this actually. Let's go and do alternate rows. Which wasn't the greatest of turns. I have to remember to get the rows coming back as well. and not do the extra one.
Mum, I mean teacher.
Oh, we're now at 9.
What's this?
Heel.
Oh, forklift, that's nice. And I've got one of those. Yay! I took the cedar attachment off it. But I think I want to look into replacing this tractor with one of these. Don't know that I want to go to 400 horsepower. What's my current? 3,000. I think that's a maximum of 379. So if I get around 400 on an Axion 900 series, they're approximately the same capabilities. Don't know how much is
Since I do one page, that means it's time for me to have lead and time.
But also the big deal at the moment is we are looking at money, not, or we're looking at farm expansion. I want fields, not I want fields, not equipment. Equipment's not going to get me anything.
Meat.
Or correction, I can do everything I want with the equipment that I currently have. I don't have to get different equipment. The reason for getting the equipment is maybe I can do things faster with newer equipment than I can with the equipment I currently have. But I'm not really rushed for time. I think in part because we are playing 4-day months. So effectively a day is a week. So there's nothing. There are some, there's some periods where there's rain every day and I can't get things done. So I do feel a little bit rushed to get stuff done in time. But most of the time there's at least enough days to do all of the farm tasks when they need to be done. So don't need new equipment yet. We did get a bigger forage harvester and we kind of needed that. I should have turned in sooner. Nope. Oops. So yeah, it's, and every so often I get, this piece of equipment's 46.4 hours. Probably going to run it to over 50. It's fine enough as it is, and eventually once it gets over 50, I'll probably get frustrated with how quickly it gets damaged. I think we went out, was it at 100%? Definitely over 90%. We have the chance that this could be needing a maintenance, at 70% or lower when I've finished weeding these remaining 2 fields. And so it becomes costly to keep it running. But buying a new piece of equipment, it's eventually going to get older, and I'm going to have to replace it because it's getting too costly to maintain. It's one of the reasons. What was it? Disturbed Simulations did a load of analysis on vehicle maintenance, and he basically discovered that if you just
these are the books I got from the book
did that row,
something about
skipping
me,
this
something
row
about moving Thomas
to do the
and
extra. So yeah, what he discovered
It wasn't
was
my
if you
homework,
just
but
buy
I know what
the
the time-
absolute basic piece of
Because it
equipment.
was part of the school
So let's
sale.
take, say for example,
Yeah.
I've got enough time. Okay,
No,
go
it's
to
not.
large tractors, right, buy one of these.
Because
I should buy
found
this vehicle here at
this which I
279,000.
really
This
want, but it was
279,000
too much
is what the
money.
repair bill
It
is
was-
based on.
Well, it wasn't, but it was.
I can then
$3,
pay
so
60,000
now
extra
you
to
know
do
my money.
that. We can
And
put,
tomorrow my mom will give me some more
let's
money.
put wide tyres with weights on it. It's another 3,200. We'll put GPS on it. Okay. The price of the vehicle is now 357, but 78,200 of it doesn't add into the maintenance bill because I just took the vehicle as basic. So it saves on your maintenance costs by not adding all the extras up front. You add the extras later. And that's what we've done here. I think the Massey Ferguson, we bought the Massey Ferguson, I think I upgraded the engine. I didn't put chip tuning on because chip tuning is a premium add-on. We just went for the biggest engine. And then we added aftermarket GPS, not GPS, crop sensors. This one we've added aftermarket GPS. And so the vehicle is cheap to maintain, but you have all the functionality you want on it. Now, the downside of doing it that way is when you sell it, those aftermarket adders are not included in the sell price. So you're basically looking
This
at
was actually pretty easy for me to leave.
you know, you lose out the purchase of the bigger engine, the GPS, etc., etc. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If you keep your tractors for a long time, then your maintenance bill is going to be your your biggest expense. So you kind of want to keep the maintenance costs down by just maintaining a base tractor with a bunch of aftermarket stuff, which they don't charge maintenance on. It's kind of weird. But now, the downside is, of course, buying used equipment. Buying used equipment, if I go back to the store now, and do we have any tractors? We have a new truck. So, this has no ads, so not a good example. In fact, this has no ads either. Oh, it has Mitas wheels. Well, but they don't cost extra over the standard wheels. But I've gone in there and there's been a used Massey Ferguson 5S with wheel weights, panoramic window, and front loader arm attachers. And all of those are adders, but they're included in that purchase, that used vehicle purchase price.
I need to go back to my house.
And
Are you still playing? Yeah.
the thing with that is, those things will add to your maintenance costs. So sometimes maintenance of a used vehicle may not be what you want. Okay, slowly working. You can see the tram lines at the far end. They're not tram lines, they're tracks of the tractor as we drove through the dirt. But yeah, so the philosophy of repairs, if you can buy a basic vehicle and then add to it, you end up paying what you would have paid, but your service bills are going to be lower. So, good deal.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. he gone again. But anyway, nearly done with this field. The time is 12:06. So again, apologies for late start today and having to completely restart because issues.
For lunch.
I don't know.
Peanut butter jelly sandwich. Probably. Drifting off the line. So yeah, I'll get the other field weeded off camera, and I will go and probably have something to eat now. Hopefully, things will go well Tuesday, and my pain issues will be either vastly reduced, or I'll be on my back because I'm recovering from the procedure I'm having. It's only it's outpatient procedure on Tuesday. But I'm taking Wednesday and Thursday off work just in case there's any issues. But should be back next week streaming. I expect us to have loud people in the background again, trying to break people's eardrums. And yeah. Anyway, let's get this thing turned around and let me call it a day. Yeah, not a lot of work outside of the farm on this particular day. Okay, so I will wish you all a good week and a good rest of the weekend. Looks like we're expecting more rain again. But for now, I'm out of here. Have fun, everyone.